love never truly dies. Sometimes it takes a long journey to find your way back home.
Grew up in Texas under the dust and the high sun. She was the whirlwind, he was her North Star guy, the only one. Jake dreamed of glory, chasing the rodeo ride, to buy her a ranch and stand strong by her side.
Our promise was made at the Broken Spur Ranch, but the road came calling, and love turned to a hush. That bittersweet evening inside the oak barn hall, I gave him a belt buckle and prayed that he'd say
the final measure, our last slow dance to keep, inside the oak barn where our old secrets sleep. He rode off to Fort Worth and never looked back, left the buckle with me on that dusty dirt track. But a cowboy's long highway is full of lonely miles, and 10 years of trail dust came dancing with my trials. He was a wild bull rider, but he found his match there at a rough stock show in Amarillo, a bad wreck to bear. His glory days ended, the big dreams fell flat. Jake's spirit was wounded, he walked like a shell of that.
She made him alive, the fear he wasn't tough. He cut all his lifelines, swore he'd had enough, just vanished off the map. Never sent a letter while back at the Spur Ranch. I swore things would get better, holding on to that scent of dry pine and the hope that had died.
Oh, the final measure, our last slow dance to keep, inside the oak barn where our old secrets sleep. He rode off to Fort Worth and never looked back, left the buckle with me on that dusty dirt track.
But a cowboy's long highway is full of lonely miles, and 10 years of trail dust came dancing with my trials.
Then the clock stopped right there, 10 long years had run, back in the oak barn where all those dreams were undone.
I saw him at the counter, scruffy beard and gray in his eyes, just a shade of the man worn down by life's rough disguise.
Then the DJ played Haggard, a slow deep blue note, and the buckle he gave me shined bright like a beacon afloat.
He whispered, "I'm sorry," his voice rough from the time, but my old Texas heart understood that steep climb.
It ain't the measure we promised, I said reaching out slow, but it's the dance we got now, fulfilling the vow.
He took my hand then, and the fear finally broke. Inside the oak barn, forgiveness spoke.
The trail dust swirled up again, just like the start, and time hadn't killed the love, it just waited on the heart. It just waited on the stars.
Yeah, the oak barn finally. Texas wind was blowing low, a lullaby across the dry hills and pasture slow. It was settled right there on the Red River spread, beneath a vast sky where life is plainly read.
Els and Sarah with calloused hands, they made their plight. The smell of saddle leather and hay was their guiding light. He was the cattle, the barbed wire, the stubborn ground. She was the order, the promise, the calm he always found.
She was the order, he was the wire, the heart of the homestead he swore to acquire. If fate tore them apart on the map, she'd hold down the ranch till he rode back on the track. That's the Red River promise, etched deep in the dust, a love that fierce yearning and time cannot adjust. A deep kind of faith planted firm in the soil, waiting for the day that the war would recoil.
But the wartime drum called out his given name, a lonely echo that crossed the Texas plain. He tightened his hat, the good book in his vest, and promised his darling he'd soon return to rest.
The first letter came in the spring dust and heat,
Talking of foreign ground and the smell of defeat. Sarah wrote back about the bluebonnet's bloom, each little flower and amen to chase away the gloom.
the second arrived in the fall, stained and brief, spoke of the cold and the relentless nagging grief. Back on the farm, the drought was slow decay. She felt the lone sentry watching through the day.
She read those words till the paper frayed thin, as winter closed in, testing her will from within. But the third letter never showed, just a man in gray, with cold final news and a metal star that day.
She was the order, he was the wire, the heart of the homestead he swore to acquire. If fate tore them apart on the map, she'd hold down the ranch till he rolled back on the track. That's the Red River promise, etched deep in the dust, a love that fierce yearning and time cannot adjust. A deep kind of faith planted firm in the soil, waiting for the day that the war would recoil. Sarah didn't weep like the loud storm's rain, but like the cracked dirt silent, enduring the pain. She kept that great promise for 50 long years, plowing the fields, drying all her hidden tears. She made the harsh ground fertile and green, until the good Lord
Finally called the queen.
now she rests on the high hill where she can see the whole spread,
where the moonlight kisses the cotton fields overhead.
They say on clear nights the fiddle cries soft and low,
And you can hear two voices finally letting go.
the lonely lament of a man, the song of his wife.
Beneath the hallowed ground of that Texas life.
I rolled into Lubbock, Texas with a soul gone cold. Just the smell of the road and an empty promise told. I wasn't the champion, the bull, just a shadow thin. My hands shook and searched for one last glass of sin. That hot desert sun mocked me for my fall. Glory and darkness, a story the whole world knew it all. But I found the haven near the university, where Sarah offered up true charity. I didn't trade my glory for riches or for gold.
I traded that whiskey glass for a broom to hold.
Redemption came slow in the scent of morning brew. Sarah is the light, my faith the dawn brand new.
She stood behind the counter, life's grit in her eyes. I braced for the scorning, but she offered no demise.
I don't serve drunks, she said, but work for those who tire. Strong coffee traded out the smell of stale beer's fire. Months of silence and quiet, sweeping that filthy floor.
I found grace where I expected the world's hateful roar. But I found the haven
Near the university, where Sarah offered up true charity. I didn't trade my glory for riches or for gold.
I traded that whiskey glass for a broom to hold.
Redemption came slow in the
Scent of morning brew.
Sarah is the light, my faith the dawn brand new. Traded the fear of being bucked off by the beast, the fear of disappointing her heart
At the very least,
my dusty old Bible ignored for too long a spell
is now the map that keeps my repentance well.
She embodied the kindness I used to scoff at in a tomb, and made me look past my sin beneath the West Texas moon. I realized this new life wasn't a prize, but a gift, a silent balm, honest, gentle, and swift.
She showed me the God that I'd forgotten how to call.
She traded the dust of the arena
for the peace of a home after all. And I found the haven
near the university, where Sarah offered up true charity. I didn't trade my glory for riches or for gold.
I traded that whiskey glass for a broom to hold.
Redemption came slow
in the scent of morning brew.
Sarah is the light, my faith the dawn brand new, brand new. I live in Lubbock now, and the past is dead and gone. That sweet ballad of forgiveness she put me on.
Yeah,
She put me on.